Emergency Travels and Bugout Survival Training. You can find us at bugoutsurvivaltraining.com. This video is going to be primarily for the ladies and the women out there. The reason I'm doing this video is during times of civil unrest, when things become a little unruly, whatever the situation may bring. It can be a natural phenomenon, it can be man-made, it can be civil unrest, civil war, any of those things that have the possibility to happen, especially in the political environment that we live in today. We never know what's going to happen or what the politicians are going to do. You got to say it for what it is. For some reason, during those times, women and children seem to pay the biggest price. They pay sometimes the ultimate price. They see women as being easy targets. They see them as someone they can take advantage of. They see them in a lot of different ways, except for the way they should be looked at. That being said, when you're in a survival situation, you always want to make sure you buddy up or you have a partner with you. This is not something that you want to do on your own. That being said, the one thing that you do not want to do is leave your survivability in the hands of somebody else. You want to take responsibility for yourself and for your own survivability and not leave it up to somebody else. Because a couple of things. Number one, if you and your partner work at different locations and something happens, they're not going to be there for you. Number one. Number two, even if you do get with your partner, whoever that may be, whoever you buddied up with, they may not make it to the finish line. You never know what's going to happen out there. So the only person you can really rely and depend on is yourself. Okay, that's paramount. Okay, and the other thing too is even with a partner. Okay, if things get bad enough, okay, and things aren't looking well, okay, when it comes right down to it, they're going to be far more interested in protecting their own personal interests in themselves than they are you. The only person that can take care of you is you. So, I'm going to give you a few tips that can help you out. I hope you find them useful. Number one, that is when something does happen or go down, whether you're at work, you're at school, you're in transit going someplace, when something does happen, the first thing you want to do is get out of your car. The reason for that being is people are going to be running around like crazy trying to get away from it just like you. And if you're in your car, two things. You can become trapped in it, number one. Number two, it could take you longer to try to get to a location than it would if you got out and walked. Okay, those are the facts. You see some of the traffic jams that take place even today out here where we live in 95. I've gone just a little to Stafford. Some of you don't know where that is, but that's not that far. And it's taking me 2 and 3 hours to get home. Well, I could almost just about walked that distance in that amount of time. So keep that in mind. Now, the other thing you want to do too is you want to make sure you have a stuff bag with you. The reason for that is that stuff bags will carry the clothing that you normally not wear. Okay, you don't want to be in a survival situation and be wearing your stilettos or your high heels, your flats, or any of your dress type of shoes. They're not going to cut it in a survival situation. They're not going to hold up well. They're going to hurt your feet, and they're not going to be any good. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the clothing you have on may not be appropriate. Most of them, when they go to work, they're in scrubs. They're wearing a nice skirt or dress with dress shoes and a blouse, a jacket, and it's just not going to work. You know, get yourself some earth tone clothing, whether it's forest green, OD green, your browns, your grays, whatever clothing that you think would work in the environment that you're in. Okay. Now, if some of you don't have any problem wearing camo, get camo by all means. You can buy it cheap at your Army surplus stores, and it's not that expensive. I've gotten complete sets for top and bottoms for $16, between $16 and $25. That's not really expensive. Get yourself a really good pair of boots. Okay, put them on, make sure they're comfortable. Get them pre-broke in before you put them in your stuff bag. The other thing is socks. Don't wear cotton socks. Okay, wear a good wool sock. Okay, and according to whatever temperature is. If it's warm or hot where you're at, get a lightweight wool sock. Okay, and if it's fall or you're just coming out of winter, go with the medium weight wool sock. And if it's really cold, go with your heavyweight wool sock. Wool socks, I promise you, you won't get athlete's feet. They don't break down. They don't hold a lot of bacteria like your cotton tube socks or some of those other socks that are out there. Even if they have the microbial technology built into them, after you wash them a few times, that it no longer applies. And not only that, but the loft in them breaks down to where there really doesn't offer any cushion anymore. And wool socks will not do that. Wool socks have a natural wicking to them and guaranteed to keep your feet nice and dry. And I wear them year round, and my feet are always comfortable, no matter what situation I'm in. So something you might want to think about. If you're gonna go camo, you have all kinds to choose from. This is multicam, and then you have your woodland, and you also have your Army digital, as well as your Marpat. There's a lot of really good camo. Like I said, you can buy me online, or you can get them at any Army surplus store, and they're cheap. Now, one of the things some of you are going to have a hard time with is that women, it's your nature. You do everything you can to make yourself look good, okay? But trust me, and I hope you never have to, but if you do, you'll thank me for this later. Hide your curves, okay? Hide as much of your that shows your feminine side as possible. When you buy your clothing, make sure it's loose clothing. You don't want it to be snug and all hugged up tight against your body that shows your figure. You want something that doesn't. Okay, no jewelry. Jewelry is a dead giveaway. And earrings, necklace, rings, any of those things are a dead giveaway, even at a distance. Okay, the other thing, makeup. Don't wear makeup. I know that's hard. It's going to be hard for some of you to do, but those are all things that are really important. The other thing too is your hair. When you got that long hair, if you can, or if you're able to, stick it in behind your shirt. I'll put it underneath your hat. Whether it's a baseball hat, a boonie hat, or if it's one of these wool hats, stick it up underneath there. Hide the fact that you're a woman. And I know that's hard to do, and I'm not trying to sound like a sexist, but the last thing you want is be able to pick out of a crowd. They see you, and they see you as a target. They see you, and they see someone that they can take advantage of. They see you, and they see someone that they can overpower and abuse. If you don't want to give it up, they're going to take it. You don't want to have to deal with that. You really, really don't. Once you get outside the danger zone, that's when you want to gear up, or what I call get tactical. That's when you want to change out of your normal work clothes or school clothes and get into your regular clothes. And that's why you want to have a pack. Everybody should have one of those, as well as a stuff bag. The stuff bag, if you have your clothing and your boots in there, you don't have to go through your pack and rifle through it and look for anything. It's all right there. Your boots, socks, pants, shirt, hat, whatever it is you have in there, and you're ready to go. You can put a lot in a pack. These are woodland camo, and this right here is a shirt, and this is a pair of pants, and they fit really well in a pack or your bag. If you're into this and you're really thinking about doing survival or being in a location and bugging out, always make the other thing you want to make sure you have is a really good bug out bag, get home bag, or go bag, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it's properly equipped and you have the right kind of gear in it. Okay? It's very, very important. When you are out there and if you're alone, the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you keep a low as profile as you can. Okay? And what that does is you don't want people seeing you. And if they do, you want it as little as possible. The trick to that is staying away from crowds. If you see military, stay away from the military. If you see police, stay away from those types of situations, because they will do what they can with crowd control to put you in a situation where they control you or they're in control, and you really don't want that. You don't know where you're going to end up. You end up in a FEMA camp someplace, or you're going to end up incarcerated somewhere. You don't know what they're going to do, especially nowadays. You never know what's going to happen. Okay. When you do meet up with your partner, and in order for that to happen, make sure you have a rendezvous point, and have a plan. The old saying is, nobody plans to fail, people just fail to plan. And that's very, very true. Get together with whoever your buddy is, or your partner, and once you hook up, make sure they're on the same boat and the same page that you're on, and so they should be tactical as well. And then you can work together to get to whatever location that you want to go to, whether it's some safe zone, or your home, or some bug out location, or a friend of the family's, or some family member that's out of the danger zone. Okay, that's out of the area that's high risk. That's what your number one goal is to get out of there. The other important thing is to be as proactive as you can be. You don't want to be reactive. If you're being reactive, chances are you're reacting to a situation that's already at hand, and it's already probably too late. And that's not something you really need either. The other thing you want to do is don't take shit from anybody. When that time comes, regardless of what anybody says or tells you, go by your gut instinct. Go by your feelings. When you feel those little hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up and you get goosebumps, it's probably time to go. Something to think about. If you're going to travel as night as much as possible. I say that because, once again, you leave a very low footprint. They're not going to see you. You're going to be very low profile. And if you're traveling at dark, when it's dark, that's when most people will be sleeping. And hopefully within 8 to 12 hours, however long or whatever distance you're trying to cover, you can cover most of it within 1 or 2 nights. Make sure you have night vision. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Night vision goes a long way to help you circumvent the night. It'll go a long way to help you. And the other thing too, you don't have to excuse me, allergies. You don't have to stop, make a campfire and cook all the time. There are ration bars, and even some energy bars that are out there. They will get you through and last you a while to get you through those times that you're hungry. Don't build a fire unless you absolutely have to, especially for the first couple of nights, because the further away you get from where the danger zone is, and you start getting further and further away from the people and the congestion, the safer it becomes, because you're dealing with fewer and fewer people. So something to think in mind. When you make a plan, make sure you follow through with it. You want to scout, recon, or walk the route that you think would be the safest way for you to go. And I say that because even terrain can offer up some hazards that in some cases could be life-threatening. Drop-offs, cliffs, rivers, streams. The last thing you want to do is be heading someplace and all of a sudden you're at a complete standstill because you can't go forward anymore for whatever reason. And you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure you have a plan A, B, C, D, however many plans you need, but walk them. Walk those routes. Know where you're going to go. Know before you go, so it doesn't offer up any surprises when you do have to get out of a situation. That's very important, because you'll feel comfortable. You'll feel comfortable in knowing that you're not coming close to a bad neighborhood, or you're not in some industrial area, that you want the shortest route to wherever you're going. Sometimes it's not the smartest route, or the best route to take, or the safest. Okay, you may have to take the longest route, but that longest route has the highest probability of you making it there, unmolested or in whole, intact. Okay, because your primary goal is getting home, I'm going to guess, and to be with your families. Okay, or to be with your husband or your partner, whoever that may be. So these are a few things to keep in mind. I think I've gone over just about everything. Don't leave anything to chance. Just don't. Make sure you have a good bug-out bag. Make sure you have a stuff bag with all your clothes and everything in it. And then when you're done with your civilian clothes, I would just toss them. Okay, I roll up my stuff bag, and I would attach that to my go bag or my bug-out bag, and then I would take and use that later on if I for some reason had to start scavenging or using it for something else. You should have two sets. You should have one set of clothing in your stuff bag and another set in your bug-out bag. Two sets of clothing will last you a long time. And the other thing too is the military surplus clothing, whether it be camo. Some of them have all OD green. Whatever you decide to use, they're very tough. They're rugged. They last a long time. Don't do the camo denim. Denim's an awful product in a survival situation. Number one, it's not made out of ripstop material, so it tears and rips fairly easy. It's very heavy when it's wet, and it takes a long time for it to dry. And when denim is wet and you're wearing it, it's very uncomfortable. Okay, so stay away from denim. Don't even go there. Really the same thing with the flannel shirt. Flannel shirts are the same way. It takes a long for them to dry, and they're also very heavy when they're wet. And you don't want that either. Go get yourself some good military surplus clothing, and you'll be happy that you did. Depending on the time of the year, make sure you have some thermals. If it's I change out my packs every 6 months. I have my fall and winter pack, and I have my spring and summer pack. Make sure you do the same thing, and don't, like I said, don't take any chances. Be prepared. If you get a bug-out bag, keep it someplace in closer proximity to you. Whether you keep it in your locker or you keep it in the trunk of your car, or whatever the case may be. If you're going to have a weapon, make sure you keep the weapon in your car and it's locked. Hidden away someplace in your trunk or underneath the seat, wherever it is you want to put it, because you're going to need that. You might not need it. Let's hope you don't, but chances are you may need it. So keep all these things in mind. Okay, hide the fact that you're a woman. I know that's hard to do. Try to keep that low profile, and I wish you all the very best. And if you have any more questions or concerns, hey, don't hesitate to give me a call. You can go to bugoutsurvivaltraining.com and just hit the button, and it calls me directly, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And like always, stay safe, be prepared. This is Travis from Bugout Survival Training, and good luck.